One thing that we realized, and at least, I had been chairman for about 4 years. When I first came in, I realized that not only was ours a legacy bank, but it was perceived as such by the younger generation. If you look at India, the average age in India is around 26 and a half. So more than half the Indians are less than 26 years old. And for them, this bank was a has-been bank. It was the parents' generation bank. And therefore, they were not interested in banking with us. Now, unless and until we changed that perception around, we were looking at a time when our customership, our entire banking business itself stood threatened. And therefore, we realized that we really didn't have a choice other than to go full scale into the right kind of technology so as to ensure that the people got the kind of service that they needed. Now, one big problem in India is that the demography over there is such that you have a large number of youngsters, but you also have a large number of the older population, that is our generation people. And therefore, you just cannot turn a bank into a digital bank. You also have to have the brick and mortar presence, because there are people who would not trust the digital channels, no matter how well you made them or how secure you made them. And so to that extent, our bank had to be a bit of everything. So it had to have a social media presence. It also had to have a brick and mortar presence. Now, social media presence, we were not there at all 4 years back. Today, in Facebook, our bank is globally #1 in the number of likes, okay? Similarly, our online SBI is the 5th most accessed financial platform globally, okay? So to that extent, what we did was all of the services that we were giving in the brick and mortar, many of it was already on the digital channel, but we needed to strengthen the channel, we needed to ease the access of those channels, and we needed to come out with features that people would really find interesting. Let me give you an example. There is a problem with the debit cards because every once in a while you hear that the debit cards are cloned or the credit cards are cloned and used elsewhere. Okay? So we created an app which you can download, and you can control your debit or credit card by turning it on and off. You can turn off international access. You can say, in this debit card, at any point of time, you will not allow more than a 10,000 rupee access, or you can say, you will not allow access at all until I turn this card back on. Now, this is a feature that is not available in any other bank in the world. It's available with our bank, because we realize that we have a traditional customer base that needs to be convinced that this is simple to do and it is secure. Similarly, we have another issue, that is the footfalls in our banks, in our branches are huge. And therefore, people complained of wait times. So what we did is, we created an app which if you switch on, it will give you a list of banking services. And if you tell them which service you need, it will show you within a 5-kilometer radius all of the branches that are giving the service and the wait times. Now, depending upon when you want to access, you can book your slot. And then the app will track, and when you are 5th in queue, it'll give you a warning, 4th, give you a warning, till you are #1. And you can just walk into the branch, switch on the app, and you will be served. Okay? So those are the sort of things we really sort of sat down and decided what were the pain points that people were facing in the adoption of technology. And as we changed our processes and our products to take on technology, we tried and incorporated these kinds of things so that people would find it easier to accept them, and thereby, transform us from a legacy bank into a bank that had the right kind of products. Currently, our digital channels are accessed by about 74% of our transactions have now gone on to digital. When I took over, the numbers were closer to around 58%, a little less than 60%, now around 74%. But our aim is to at least transition 85% of transactions onto these channels. One thing about money is that after health, it's probably the most precious thing. Okay? And because it is a very precious thing, therefore it has to it a very big component of trust. Now, this trust is something which is easy to lose. And when you are looking at cryptocurrency, the problem is that you really don't know who controls it, who owns it, how safe it is. So unless and until these questions are properly answered, I would say that the brick and mortar will still have a place. Because at the end of the day, if the people don't have any location at all to fix where this bank exists, how comfortable will they be to entrust to it their entire savings, their entire livelihood, so to speak? So there is over there still a lot of doubt as to how these things will pan out. In fact, last time in Davos, the Swedish central banker was there, and they say that 94% of their transactions are on the digital mode. And because of that, the Swedish bank is currently considering whether they should stop printing of cash altogether and transfer to cryptocurrency. Meaning, for them, they say that this is a natural progression. At one point of time, people used to use shells, and then it became coins, metal, and then it became gold and paper, and now maybe crypto. But they also hedge their bets by saying that this is only something that we are looking at. We ourselves are not very sure that this is doable, even though 94% of their transactions are on the digital level. Doing away with cash altogether seems to be still fraught with kinds of possibilities which are not properly known. So I think at this point of time, if you ask me to project ahead, I think there will be still brick and mortar. But again, this is a very fast evolving world. We don't know how things will evolve. So maybe, every 5 years we need to revive our projections to see where we go.